Good morning. My name is Rick and I welcome you back to my garden. Today I'm going to give you a garden tour and then I'm going to go back into the greenhouse. There's a few things in there and then I'm going to show you some new acquired plants or recently acquired plants. Some Hoyas and some orchids and philodendrons. So please stick around and I hope you subscribe to my channel. I post a new video every week. So let's start over here in the garden entrance. I have a couple of things going on. So over here, Hoya Kiki is, this one is almost open, but down here, I think it must have opened overnight. Uh, my Hoya Kiki opened. She's really showy. The flowers last about 5-6 days, and really love it. It's quite a easy Hoya to grow, and it blooms quite often as well. So this flower is kind of hidden down here. I almost missed it, but yeah, it's going all the way. I think it's over here and it goes somewhere in there. So once in a while I'll see blooms pop up all over the place. So what else over here? Oh, Hoya biguitensis. I think this is day 3. And here is the flowers. Love those colors. Let me see if I can get closer up on that. It's really a beautiful orange color. And it blooms on that same peduncle over and over and over again. And the plant's not looking too good, so but the bloom, it keeps blooming, so I'm not too concerned. I think you got a little bit of sunburn on that leaf, but yeah, that's the plant. So one of the plants that I bought at Artstone is this Hoya that is mounted on a piece of pottery by a lady here in Florida. Her company is Just One More Orchid, and she has a YouTube channel, and she makes these really cool hangers that you can put orchids or Hoyas. So you can see this is, it was sold as a Hoya densifolia, but it's definitely a Hoya commingiana. And it's just mounted in there with a lot of moss. So as long as you water it, maybe every 3 days, it should be fine, and it looks really happy in there. So that is a Hoya commingiana. Put it over here for now. And then over here I have a Hoya question bicolor. That's how it was sold to me about 12 years ago. And it's really, really stunning. If you look at the flowers, they have like this really nice brown edge to the corollas, and it's quite a beautiful, easiest, one of the easiest Hoyas to grow, and it's also easy to flower. And going over here, there's my Hoya species of Finis Burtonae. You can see it. It gets like, this is not getting a lot of sun, but it gets really nice coloring when it gets a little bit of sun, and it's putting out peduncles. So yeah, this plant is about 3 feet long, and it's doing pretty well here in this spot. And this is EPC 1002, and it keeps blooming, but as you can see here, this one is it's closing up, but it's growing up in this tree quite a bit. And this is a peduncle to Hoya Nathalie. I had one open. I think it's closed back up. And there's this beautiful orchid over here that I lost the tag for it. So, but it's a consistent bloomer, and it's really gorgeous. And the flowers last over a couple weeks. So when it blooms, I'm always happy to see it. And I think there's more peduncles of Hoya Nathalie. And we had a freakish windstorm a couple of days ago in the project that I was working on. That big piece of wood that I put in between those two trunks fell down there, so that's going to be a lot more work for me. I have to get it back on there and use bigger nails for when the weather gets pretty rough. But the Hoyas that I have over here are doing really well. This is a Hoya latifolia from Sarawak. The Hoya Swiffer's Treat is going to bloom again. It's constantly blooming. This is the fourth time it's bloomed for me. There's the leaf for Swiffer's Treat, which is one of Cerisa's hybrids, and it's a really gorgeous, gorgeous Hoya. It has a Clementsorium as a dad, so you can see it's doing. It gets some of those characteristics. And let's go back here in the garden. I have, Hoya decii. I'll show you over here on the pedestal. This Hoya kind of struggles in the winter, and one of the reasons is that it really likes high humidity and high temperatures to stay happy. So this time of year, look at it, it's really putting out a lot of new growth, and the leaves look really gorgeous. How can you not like a splashy heart-shaped veiny leaf that has it all? It's one of the more desirable Hoyas in people's collections. It's always been, but in the wintertime it just does not like the cooler, drier temperatures. So if you keep it in a grow tent, if you live up north or even down here in Florida, it doesn't do well outside here in the winter. So it kind of looks sickly when the winter comes around. So I might have to find a little enclosure for it and keep it warm in the winter. What else? Back here I have another find that I got at Artstone, and it's this really gorgeous. The video doesn't do it justice. In person they almost look black. This is a Vanda, and I do have the tag because I just bought it. So it's Vanda Calmary, and it's super fragrant, and I just couldn't pass it up. It's just so gorgeous. It has these two beautiful spikes, and you can smell it quite a bit away. Just love it. And then over here I do have Hoya David's Green Cup blooming again. It's also a very good grower and bloomer. And not much going on over here. It looks like my Manilifolia is going to bloom. It's kind of funny when it's about to put out a flower. This enclosure is quite different from the rest of the plant before it puts out the flower on there. I do have some incense burning to the Buddhas this morning. It does have a double purpose. One of the reasons is that it keeps the mosquitoes away, and it creates a nice environment for meditation back here for me. When I have a stressful day, I usually come read a book and light some incense back here. And some begonias I got over here, and I brought my Polynura Bruguette. Is doing really well out here. And my regular Polynura down here that I got from Patsy. I've taken a few cuttings from it, but it's doing pretty well actually. And it's been hot here in Florida, and Polynuras don't usually particularly care for Florida weather. And here's my Hoya retusa in my Bosa planter. So let me take you into the greenhouse and show you a few things in there, and then I'm going to show you a couple of the other plants that I bought this weekend or came in the mail. So please stick around. So yeah, the Hoya Mapiguera is definitely a very interesting flower. It looks like a folded napkin or a flying nun hat, if I've heard it described before. And let me show you a few things in the greenhouse since I'm in here. This is a Hoya I got from AH, and it's really cool looking. It's putting out all these nice splashy leaves. This is Hoya Poise. Don't know much about, I think it's a hybrid, but I don't know much about the parentage of it. But as you can see, it's really splashy, if that's your thing. This seedling here, I got it some seeds from Hawaii last year, and I think I had like 15 seeds. I grew them out, but only this one has really exquisite splashing, and it seems to be pretty consistent in all the leaves. So I'm really excited to report back to the original person that sent me this. It's quite a beautiful Hoya. And down here I have stuff that I have rooting. I do sell plants in my Facebook group called Rick and Swiffer, so if you are not a member, join, and you can see all these Hoyas up for sale that I list them on a pretty regular basis. I do have some philodendrons in here. There's some Jose Buenos. And I wanted to show you the new growth on this variegated Suoessiana. It's doing pretty well. I think I got this plant about a month ago, and these are three new leaves on this new growth, and this is the original set of leaves that I got from Thailand. And here I have a Hoya Rebecca. I had to start this plant over for some reason. I either gave it too much neglect or something happened, and it really died down to about nothing, and the leaves were looking pretty shabby. But since I replanted them, the new growth looks fantastic. It's already blooming, and it's putting up some new growths up there, so I'm pretty happy with that. And what else do I have in here? That is interesting. I think people saw my Argentea picta. As you can see, it's really like a ghost carnosa with outer white margins. But the new growth from that growth point came out all with no chlorophyll. So if this Hoya continues to put out leaves with no chlorophyll, it'll probably die soon. But there's hope. There's one node there that has not put out any growth yet, so I'm gonna hold hope. And this is the Cerisa Hybrid Ss 2021. I believe the seedling is Erythrina with Carrii. I could be mistaken, but I really think that's what it is. So yeah, since I've gotten it's put out 3 new leaves and a really nice growth point. So I'm really happy how this one is progressing. It seems to be a relatively easy Hoya to grow. Now this Hoya here is probably the most expensive Hoya I ever paid for. It's a hybrid by Cerisa, and it's 2204. The flowers are really beautiful, and I almost lost it, so I took a cutting of it and I put it in my little humidity tent, and it rooted pretty well, and I'm very excited that it's putting out, I don't know if you can see there, it's putting out new growth. So yeah, this is really special Hoya. I've always loved the flower. When Cerisa posted it, I just had to get it. So that's SS 2004. And here's my IM4. It really doubled in size in about a month. When I got it from Thailand, I just have it in coconut husk and perlite. And it seems to be doing really well there. And I have this little multiflora that has a lot of splashiness, and they call it multiflora spot. And this also has been in my possession for about a little bit over a month. And as you can see, it's doing really well. It's put out a lot of new growth, and I don't know if you can tell, but it has, let's see if you can see it, it has a peduncle. So that should be nice to see bloom. It probably looks just like the other multifloras that I have, but these leaves are quite adorable. And an update on my splashy queen. It's just a Carnosa Crimson Queen that has a lot of splash in the green parts. It's pretty consistent. It might miss a node or a leaf, but even the newer growth has quite a bit of splash. And I do like these half moon leaves. It's quite attractive. So yeah, it seems to be doing really well here. It likes the greenhouse. I thought it liked to be outside, but for some reason it didn't do so well out there, so I brought it back here in the greenhouse. And the heat and humidity probably gets up to over 90 degrees here sometime during a day. So yeah, that is the Hoya Carnosa Crimson Queen with a lot of splash. And the new growth is coming in all pinkish, which is pretty attractive as well. And this is Hoya rye. I've had ups and downs with this Hoya. When it decides to start growing, it does pretty well. I think it likes really high heat and humidity, so a terrarium maybe in the winter would be a good thing for it, but it really is taking off since it's been getting really hot here in the greenhouse, and the humidity is going up here in June, so it looks pretty happy. I've been feeding it with a liquid fertilizer and with some Osmocote, so it's in a little 2-inch pot. Maybe I'm gonna, before the summer's over, I'll take it out of that 2-inch pot and plant it right into that 4-inch hanging basket. So yeah, it's really adorable. And the flowers, I have never seen them bloom, but from what I see online, they're quite exquisite. And this is newer leaves on my Hoya. I don't know if you can tell, but they're super fuzzy. These leaves are pretty good size. This is Hoya Stanicky. And I've seen flowers online. They're quite beautiful. And they're really, you can see now, they're really fuzzy. I've had this Hoya for about, I got it as a 2-noder, and it's been in my possession for a couple months. And it's put out 2 new sets of leaves, and it has a nice growth point, so it can continue to grow. It seems to be really happy here in the greenhouse. So here we are with, this is all acquired within the last week, and these are pretty much all new to me. This one is a little bit like a couple of the multifloras I have in there. This one is called Multiflora Mini Splash, but I also have one in the greenhouse that that looks a little similar. It's about to bloom, so it could be slightly different when the flowers come up. So this is Multiflora Mini Splash, and then I also got this as a gift from, this is species Tangamas, and this, as you can see, has really nice ridges to it in the leaf. It's a rather thin leaf, but I've never seen anything like it, so I don't know anything about it, what the bloom looks like, or I think it was recently collected in a jungle, and there's absolutely no information whatsoever on this guy. And this is a species Papua Noid. Also, I did see flower pictures of this. They're quite interesting. They're very yellow. And another species with a name I can't pronounce. I'll try it. Species CM. And this is, as you can see, the leaves are quite thick. They look a little bit fuzzy and they're tiny. You can see they're quite cute. I don't know what the flowers look like again. Um, a friend of mine sent me this to see if I put it next to my PG04 and compare it to see if they're the same, but they're definitely not. So I think this is a totally different plant. And this guy over here, another species, Cianjur. I was told these leaves get really black or really dark when they get a little bit of sun. So this was also gifted to me. And back here is a Monstera Obliqua. And as you can see, it did get a little bit of discoloration in the mail. I got it last week, and it was supposed to get here in like 2-3 days, and the FedEx screwed up, and it took over 6 days. It took about it was almost 7 days when it got here. And I contacted the seller, and I told the seller, oh no, I don't have a lot of hope for this plant, and the seller agreed. Yeah, that's a lot of time for a Hoya, for a Monstera to be, Obliqua to be in the mail for that long. So we were both worried, but when it arrived, I contacted the seller, and I told the seller that it's probably going to be okay, and we'll just have to see how it goes. But it's been in my care for about 5 days now, and it looks like it's pretty happy. It's in the greenhouse, 90 degrees and above 80 humidity, so I think that's pretty close to what it gets in nature. So yeah, that's Hoya obliqua. And that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and come back every Sunday when I upload a new video. So I'll see you then. Take care and have a great week. Bye-bye.